Kia ora, ngā mihi nui ki koutou katoa, no mai haere mai ki tēnei hui papaho. Greetings everybody, welcome to Friday's press conference. A little over an hour ago, New Zealand's economy became one of the most open in the world, with the increase in the gatherings limit to 100 under the Alert Level 2 settings. Because of our success in fighting this virus, our public health efforts to go hard and go early have allowed us to open up our economy much quicker than many other countries. New Zealand now has some of the most relaxed settings in the world, according to the Oxford University Government Response Stringency Index. We are more liberal than Australia, Canada, Ireland, France, Italy, the Netherlands, the UK and the US, to name a few. This means our strong health response is giving our economy a kickstart and a head start in our recovery. Research from the Reserve Bank shows how important the move from Level 3 to Level 2 was in terms of opening up the economy. They forecast that GDP would go from being 19% below normal levels under Level 3 to 8.8% below normal levels under Level 2, an improvement of 10 percentage points. In comparison, a move to Level 1 adds 5 percentage points, so half the value of the move from Level 3 to Level 2. The good news is that the vast bulk of the economy is able to be back up and running at Level 2, and a further step down to Level 1 is primarily focused on increasing gathering sizes and reducing social distancing requirements, which will add additional economic capacity. Also, it's worth bearing in mind that most of the original scenarios around the impact of Level 2 were done with the assumption that there would not be domestic travel at Level 2, and that decision was obviously subsequently changed. And we can see the impact of that as we head into Queen's birthday weekend. I think actually for the first time for a lot of New Zealanders in some while, they will feel that this is like a normal holiday weekend, and we've seen stories coming out of Queenstown and elsewhere of very full bookings. There was a report today citing analysis by AirDNA, which showed that the increase in short-term rental bookings in New Zealand has been higher than pretty much every country around the world. The AirDNA data said New Zealand Airbnb and other short-term rental bookings were last week 465% higher than during the week beginning Monday, April 6th, just after we went into lockdown. This compares to a 367% jump in bookings in Germany in the same period, 202% jump in the US, and 200% rise in France, and a 189% increase in Australia. Today's weekly economic update from the Treasury also shows improvements in economic activity. Heavy traffic movement is now only 5% below its normal levels, while electricity demand is now above pre-COVID levels, and electronic card spending during Level 2 has been nearly equal to pre-COVID levels. Of course, the global economic recession will continue to have an impact on the New Zealand economy. We will see worse figures before the economy starts to rebound fully, with Treasury obviously forecasting unemployment to be just below 10% in the September quarter, before improving as the economy starts to grow again. And I'd note that forecasters in Australia also expect unemployment to hit 10% there. The economic impact is hitting the global economy, and no country is immune. The best we can do is to keep the virus under control and not risk a return back up the alert levels. In the meantime, there are some positive developments that we should welcome. MSD today released its latest data on Jobseeker support, showing an increase of only 384 people on Jobseeker over the week to 22 May. Since the 20th of March, there has been an increase of 43,810 people on Jobseeker, representing 0.9% of the total population. The number of people on Jobseeker represents 6.3% of the working age population, quite clearly not most New Zealanders. The government's early action to put the wage subsidy in place has, of course, helped keep employers and workers connected. The latest numbers on the wage subsidy show $10.97 billion has been paid out, covering more than 1.6 million employees. We are also receiving regular updates on MSD's audit process of the wage subsidy scheme. For those who are interested, 3,278 refunds have been made to date, equating to $83.4 million being returned. I want to reiterate, the vast majority of New Zealand businesses are doing the right thing, and they have used the wage subsidy cash injection to help cover their employees' wages and stay connected to their employees, so they are in a position to to reopen again. But we have zero tolerance for anyone who has knowingly provided false or misleading information, and these people are being held to account. Another milestone to report, the Small Business Cash Flow Loan Scheme has now injected $1.03 billion into more than 60,000 SMEs to help with cash flow to cover fixed costs like rent. The government believes it is important that we help our small businesses to position themselves as the economy starts to open up again. And just briefly for a regular sports section that I know you all look forward to, it's great to hear this morning's news that Trans-Tasman cricket rivalry will resume this spring and summer for both our women's and men's team. Being able to do this as early as September is a fantastic reflection on results of controlling the virus on both sides of the Tasman. I also want to wish the Warriors good luck to Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and his team. I imagine there will be a considerable audience on Saturday night, and it is great to see live sport back on our screens. And finally, speaking of our New Zealand-Australia relationship, I had a very positive phone call with Australian Treasurer Josh Frydenberg earlier today. We both reiterated our country's commitment to getting a Trans-Tasman bubble up and running as soon as is safely possible. We also had a conversation about the shift both countries are going through as our initial economic responses to protect jobs and help businesses shift to our next phases of recovery and rebuild. Treasurer Frydenberg has invited me to be a part of a group of finance ministers from around the world who he will bring together to meet regularly by phone to discuss the economic outlook and policies. And I think that both countries have a lot to contribute given the successes of our public health responses and the head start that we have on opening up the economy.